Hey, how's it going, guys? I'm Paradoxic, and welcome back to Once Upon a Time. We are back with more OAUT. Is it no, OUAT? OUAT, bit of a switch around. Back with Once Upon a Time, this time on to episode 2 of season 1. And before we get into the reaction, I want to issue out a huge thank you to two different kind of groups, two categories. First one being you guys, all of you here, all of you who found the channel through the reaction and found the reaction itself and enjoyed it so much and liked and commented and shared and everything like that. It was a real delight to wake up to so many awesome comments and so many people actually having enjoyed the reaction and looking forward to more of them. So I can't wait to get into more of the show with you all and actually share all the emotions. But yeah, that was awesome. And also a second thank you to fellow reactor Liam Duke. Liam is also a fellow reactor and a fellow Once Upon a Time watcher, and he was very happy to see that I'd begun a reaction to this, and to the extent of actually promoting my reaction on his own community channel, so thank you, Dookie. But yeah, I can't wait to get into more of the show and see what it's about and actually see just how extensive the kind of fairy tale lore is and how much they explore it and how many other characters they introduce. We start off with a decent kind of roster in the first episode and like a decent kind of starting point for what the story is, both kind of past and present. So yeah, it was a great pilot. I really enjoyed it. It definitely made me want to actually check out more of the show and see where all of this leads and what the stories are like from here. So we met Snow White. Snow White is the character they started off with, Snow White and her very own Prince Charming. I've been informed that the Prince Charming that Snow White has and the Prince Charming that Cinderella has, they are both called Prince Charming, but they're also two different princes. So I think Prince Charming from Cinderella might just be called Prince Charming, but the one from Snow White's story is called Prince Florian. So he actually has his own name, but I think they probably still refer to him as Prince Charming for whatever reason. But it started off with the story of Snow White. She was poisoned by the apple. I know that much. She was poisoned by the apple, and then fell into a coma, and then Charming's true love's kiss woke her up and everything. So that is the more light-hearted kind of version of that story, which they went with, understandably. So Snow White woke up, and then she actually managed to fulfill her happily ever after too. She got married to Prince Charming and had a baby, but then the evil queen wasn't having it. The evil queen was not about to have her evil plan thwarted by a handsome prince. She was not having that, so she actually placed one final malevolent curse on the two, and also I think she cursed pretty much the entire kingdom. She cursed the entire kingdom. All the other characters fell under her curse too. So her curse was to freeze the entire kingdom, or freeze the entire town, pretty much, in time. And also to take away their memory. So it was like they were kind of one division. Their memories of who they originally were taken away. They were given new identities, new lives, and they were frozen in time in Storybrooke, Maine. And yeah, and I think the way the story went was that, they went to Rumpelstiltskin, Snow White and Prince Charming went to Rumpelstiltskin, and he told them that, if they gave their baby away, then, and actually, passed her through like a portal of some kind, then she would return in 28 years and save them all, which we met Emma Swan in the present day. She was actually sought out by her own son, the one that she gave away 10 years before that, and he had been reading the story that Snow White had given him, and then he found out that Emma was part of the story and had actually sought her out using credit cards and stolen financial details to bring her back to Storybrooke. So it was a whole thing. So Emma is back. Emma actually did decide to stick around in Storybrooke for a while. She's actually staying in an inn owned by Red Riding Hood and her grandma. I think that might have been one of my favorite reveals. Red Riding Hood and her grandma owning an inn together, and Red Riding Hood almost seeming like some kind of angsty teen or like an angsty millennial of some kind, and then the granny just being the granny. But she's staying there. We also met the sheriff. I think again, I don't know. I'm kind of going off the. I'm like kind of going off the assumption that he is the woodcutter, but I think he might be something else. I think no other sheriff comes to mind from like a fairy tale, like not just a Disney fairy tale, but like a fairy tale in general. Like no other sheriff comes to mind. And when I think of like a sheriff from like a Disney product, I think of Sheriff Woody from Toy Story. But then I don't think they're going that route unless they intend on introducing Jessie and Bo Peep and Buzz as well. I don't know what they would do there, but the sheriff is played by Jamie Dornan. I've now found out his name, Jamie Dornan. the guy from 50 Shades, so that's cool. And then we have the evil queen became Regina, became the adoptive mother of Emma's son. So she became the adoptive mother of Snow White and Prince Charming's grandson. So that is some super duper evil. That is some super duper kind of turn the tables evil going on there. So she is also very very detached from any kind of fantasy or any kind of story. Similar to the stuff that happens in fairy tales. She's the mayor of the town. She, believes in fully fledged reality and everything like that. So she kind of refuses to let Henry anywhere near fairy tales or anything like that. And yeah, I think she definitely, even in the first episode, she definitely had like a very, very evil demeanor. She insisted that, even at the very end, she insisted that, that Emma was not his mum. She may have been the one who gave birth to Henry, but she was no longer his mother since she gave him away, and she swore to destroy Emma if Emma ever came between her and Henry. So, yeah, evil queen demeanor right on lockdown. So, it'll be fun to see how that progresses. And then, yeah, Rumpel, I feel like there's some kind of partnership we've yet to see between Rumpel and the evil queen in modern day kind of Storybrooke, because Regina is the mayor, but Rumpel is Mr. Gold, and he owns the town. He owns the town, and Regina runs it. So, Rumpel being Rumpel, there has to be some kind of, I think, even from Mr. Gold, there's some kind of creepiness around him that kind of shows that there's definitely more to him than meets the eye, and it's also connected to him having been Rumpel in the past. So I'm guessing there's some kind of untold kind of partnership between him and Regina, that we're not really aware of yet. And there were kind of hints in the last episode that Regina kind of knows more than meets the eye. Like she's a little too overly insistent. I wouldn't say I wouldn't say overly insistent, but I'd say she's insistent enough for it to be necessary that she actually knows more than she's letting on, and especially when it comes to the book. So I think her and Rumpel are characters definitely worth kind of keeping an eye on, but everyone else is just kind of innocently trapped in this alternate kind of world and life that the evil queen has placed them under with her curse. So it'll be interesting to see how Emma actually works to rescue them, with Henry's help, of course. Henry isn't letting her around. And a detail I personally missed out on at the end of the last episode is that the clock hand in, the Watchtower clock hand in Storybrooke actually moved because Emma decided to say so. Someone who was sent away, so someone not originally caught under the evil curse is immune to the curse, and that kind of person being within that kind of vicinity kind of counteracts the curse, and it shows time moving forward. So I think Regina's definitely going to catch on to that too, or at least the evil queen is, and then the evil queen is going to come out, and no more Regina, like full mask off at some point. So that'll be fun to see. But yeah, that is pretty much all I can remember from the last one. So going forward now, we'll hopefully meet a lot more people, because I think we met like a handful of people in the last one, so hopefully going forward we'll actually meet more people in the town, see just how many other, because I'd imagine she did trap everyone, but whether or not they actually, because I think they're trapped in time, but they're not trapped in the location. So I think, especially being under new identities, I wonder like maybe if in these new lives and new identities, some of them felt like maybe moving away from Storybrooke, or if maybe they are actually trapped in a way that, like, not only are they frozen in time, but they're like the evil queen makes them want to stay in Storybrooke, because it's where they are. Like, I'm wondering what all the aspects of this evil curse are, if it's just like a time freeze thing, or if it's like something more kind of like mind warping and stuff. But I guess we'll see. And I'm also wondering if we'll see anything more from the flashbacks, like anything more from the actual fairy tale setting, or if that was like, if what we saw in the first episode is just like, if that's all that there was meant to be. So we'll see. I guess we'll see. But that is it. So on to episode 2. If you guys want to catch the full-length reaction, the full unedited reaction for this episode, that one will be over on Patreon. So you just need to go get that copy from there, and you just need a copy of your own episode from Disney Plus, and you can sync it up, and it'll be good to go. So that'll be just as fun. But yeah, on to episode 2 of Once Upon a Time. Let's go.
I'm your mother.
We're not.
Oh, damn. 10
Well, then who
years,
is?
and he says that.
That woman you brought here?
You hear that? You hear that, Regina? That's the bell. Yeah, the clock tower.
I have yet to taste anything more delicious than the fruit it offers. Thanks.
Such an evil yet enchanting
I'm sure
smile.
You'll enjoy them on your drive home.
Actually, I'm gonna stay for a while.
Take my advice, Miss Swan. Only one of us knows what's best for Henry.
Yeah,
I'm starting to think you're right about that.
Oh, damn.
It's time for you to go. Or what?
A war of the mums.
Don't underestimate me, Miss Swan.
Yeah. Whoa. Oh, so she took the sword with her. It still went through when she teleported. Just like it's like when Dobby still got killed by Bellatrix, even when he disapparated.
How do you plan on accomplishing that?
A dark curse.
Moff Gideon is the mirror on the wall. You're telling me Moff Gideon is the magic mirror?
You traded it away.
She won't be happy to see you.
Since when do I care about anyone else's happiness but mine?
Must we do this?
Alas, we must.
Jesus, she can control. She's a firebender. She's a firebender. Ah. That's pretty neat. Don't kill the unicorn, please. No, don't kill the unicorn. Okay, the unicorn's safe. The unicorn's safe. The unicorn's safe.
Childhood steed.
A horse's heart?
A glorious beast whose passing will fuel our victory.
Damn, animal heart and evil villain hair.
You really unleashed something there.
Oh, that's kind of badass. That is kind of badass, yeah.
I didn't send it.
I did.
Oh, Henry's the admirer.
Go to school? I'm 10. Walk me.
He wants his mother to walk him to school.
Not aging, with screwed up memories, stuck in a cursed town that kept them oblivious.
I knew you'd get it. That's why we need you.
WandaVision,
Because I'm the daughter of
WandaVision.
Snow White and Prince Charming. Kid.
I know the hero never believes it first.
Okay.
If they did, it wouldn't be a very good story. If you need proof,
Yeah, this
take
kid
them.
has some self-awareness of his own. Yeah.
See what I mean?
Can she read that? Is it?
Why
Is
are you
it?
doing this?
You were right. She was just here.
Did she take the file?
Oh, she wanted that to happen.
How did you know she was gonna come here?
Because I'm the one who gave her the idea.
Ah, she is. Oh, geez, Regina is good. Regina is very, very good.
And a mask. Just setting you up.
Ah. I can't help but love her. I can't help but love Regina. She just has that energy to her. She's evil, but it's so good.
May I
So
speak
good.
with my son? This is gonna be good for us. You'll see. Things will be better.
I gotta get back to class.
Henry is so unfazed. He's so unfazed. He's just not falling for a single shred of this.
You know the shrink is lying,
Yeah.
right?
I trust you.
It's always good to have a mother's trust. Always
Well,
good to have a mother's
If you can
trust.
uncuff me, I have something to do.
Yeah. That was quick. That was very, very quick. She's sawing down her poison apple tree.
What the hell are you doing? Picking apples.
You're out of your mind.
No, you are. Your shoddy frame job's enough to scare me off. You're gonna have to do better than that. Your move.
Oh, jeez. That was cool. That was really cool. That was really, really cool. Is he literally painted gold? Yeah, he's literally painted gold. Yeah.
Tell me what I did wrong.
For that, there's a price.
You want the name of her unborn child too?
In this new land, I want comfort,
Ah, he gets a position of power.
good life.
Yeah,
Fine.
financial
Go have an
stability.
estate. Be rich.
Yeah, he owns the
Wasn't
town.
finished. There's more.
There always is with you. You won't remember any of this.
Oh, well then. What's the harm?
Oh, he's good. They're both so good. They're so
What must I
good.
do to enact?
The heart of the thing you love most.
Does the evil queen love anyone?
Almost died because of Snow White.
Because it was her prized steed initially. It was the steed she cared about the most, so that didn't work. So it has to be a human, right? It has to be someone she actually loves.
You can gather your things, but I need to have your room key back.
So she has no place to stay. She has to leave. Yeah, Regina is good. Regina is so very good. Uh-huh.
Why don't you drive over to my office?
Oh, you
Or
that.
walk, whatever suits you.
Again, I can't help but love her. I cannot help but love her. There's such
I'd like to start by
smooth evilness. Yeah.
this one. Poor kid can't tell the difference between fantasy and reality, and it's only getting worse. It's crazy.
You think I'm crazy?
Oh no, God, no. Oh no. Emma, Archie warned you.
How long was he there? Long enough.
Oh, she wanted this to happen.
You knew he would be here.
Yeah, that's why she drew her here.
Did I know that my son comes to my office every Thursday at precisely 5 p.m. so I can take him for dinner before his therapy session?
Oh, right before his therapy.
Of course I did.
Oh.
Your move.
Your move. Oh, God.
You have no soul. How in the hell did you get like this?
Did she give up her own heart for the curse?
I'm not sure I should say.
The heart of some of the one thing she truly loves, her own heart.
Daddy, I don't know what to do.
He's her father. Okay, I didn't.
Please,
He's her father.
Stop worrying about Snow White and start over.
Find another princess to obsess about.
But the choice is yours.
Oh, you tell her that, she's definitely gonna go for your heart.
I can be happy, just not here.
Oh, she plucked it right out. She plucked it right out.
Cinnamon?
And cookies?
I'm sorry, I should have asked. It's a little quirk of mine. Do you mind?
Oh, she inherited it from her mother. Oh.
Thanks.
Come on, put two and two together, Emma.
When you
Come
bailed
on.
me out, you said, maybe it is true.
But you told my mom.
What she needed to hear.
Operation
What I
Cobra, remember?
Into thinking that we are non-believers. Because that way, she's not onto us. Throwing her off the trail?
Yeah, you see? You need to play this smart. You gotta play it smart.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
I read the pages. There is only one way to make sure that she never sees them.
Destroy them. Burn them. Yeah. The story lives, but the ink can die. Yeah.
Now we have the advantage.
Great. And she's back in Henry's good graces again. Okay. All in the course of one episode. All in the course of one episode. Very hectic.
Kid, I love you, Daddy.
Henry, beloved father? Excusez-moi? Wait. Like Henry or... Which Henry?
The boy I procured for you.
The boy?
Henry.
Henry?
Did I ever tell you what a lovely name that was?
He got her Henry. He helped her adopt Henry.
However did you pick it?
Who is this woman? His mother, this Emma Swan.
He is a tricky one.
You think you know exactly who she is?
He's a tricky one. Oh, he's eating her apple and it's in her face. Ugh. Oh, wow. Oh, he's a tricky one. He's a tricky one. Damn. That was a long one. So yeah, another great episode of this show, and where to start? Yeah, no, I gotta say, I both love and I am in love of various things about the show already. One of them being the kind of evilness of both Regina and the Evil Queen. They're both very well translated evils from both the kind of magical times and the modern times. I'm in love with her evilness. Like it's just so cool. Like she plays such a good evil villain, and I'd say possibly even lovable, depending on how you define lovable. But she just plays such a good, enjoyable evil queen. You want her to be evil. You enjoy seeing her be evil. Like it's such like an attractive evilness. If that's something that makes sense to you. But it's just really fun watching her play the evil queen. I think I need to look up who the actress is for the evil queen, but she does a great job. And yeah, like even like her rivalry, her kind of motherly like rivalry with Emma is just they're like that back and forth is so well. Again, it's so well written, so well acted, so well portrayed and everything. Like just each time they do something, it's like, great, your move, biatch. like her getting Emma arrested after convincing her to go to Archie's office to get the files, and then having Archie work for her too, and then having a car clamp. Like, I think the car clamping might be my favorite one. The car clamping might be my favorite one because as soon as she's on the phone to her with the car, it's like, oh, why don't you come down to my office? It's only like a 5-minute drive. Oh, or maybe you can walk. Like, her kind of awareness of like just overly emphasizing all the obvious kind of details and situations she puts Emma in. Like, it's so fun to watch. So I'm loving that. And I think especially her evilness as Regina too. It's like, she has all the right moves. She knows exactly what cards to play, exactly how to manipulate the entire situation, and ties it into her being protective of Henry as her son and maintaining that kind of position and power of control that she has over the entire situation. And stuff. So like the stuff we saw, like the kind of, it's definitely like an actions speak louder than words kind of thing, and especially like her word of warning to Emma in the last episode served very well and very easily as a warning. But then at this episode, she pulls out, at the very least, she pulls out all the lighter cards, all the lighter stuff. And like I think easily like the most malicious act of hers in this one was actually luring Emma to her office at the exact right time when Henry would be there, so that he could actually hear her talk about how crazy she thought the whole thing was, and then actually using that kind of language against her, like that tie-in to like Archie specifically warning her never to actually use the word crazy around him, and then she goes and says crazy right behind his back, and Henry's there, and then she's like, oh, did I know my son would be here, but be here at 5 p.m. before dinner, before his therapy session. Like, it's literally before his therapy session too, so he's gonna end up going to that therapy session and be stone cold like he was, just refusing to talk to Archie, just contemplating how Emma really feels and stuff like that and everything, so it's just really, I mean, at that point it was just heartbreaking stuff. Like what Archie foreshadowed just really came through swinging, just like that. And Regina was able to manipulate the whole thing, because she made sure of the fact that Emma would actually go to Archie's thing to Archie's office in the first place, and then she knew, I think, and Henry having been in therapy, she would also receive that same kind of feedback from Archie, so she would know that the way that Henry's feeling crazy is the one word you do not want to use around him or about him or in front of him or anything like that, so be careful to do that. So then she would know that Emma would receive the same news, and then she just had to pluck a few more strings and then finally have Emma come to her environment, into her playground, and then things would go down exactly as they wish. So I think in the end, I think she realized all she needed to do was try and turn Emma against him, or to turn him against Emma, like pretty much to turn Henry against Emma, and realized that she wasn't actually as kind deep down, or to make him think at least that she wasn't as kind deep down as he had hoped. So yeah, but I mean, I honestly can't stop thinking about like how good the actress is for Regina in this role, like how good the actress thing, because like again, like she plays the evil queen role, like, and the evil queen thing is like almost stereotypically evil. Like, she goes down that whole kind of fairy tale evil queen kind of route where she's intent on taking down the good guys and stuff like that. But I think even like within the way that this story is written, I think one of the well done aspects is the fact that it's almost primarily kind of revenge motivated. Like she says time and time again, like Snow White took everything from her, so she has no more happiness left unless she takes Snow White's and everyone else's. So it's not just like a typical kind of I'm the villain, I want to do some evil stuff, type of shtick going on, but it's actually like a deeper kind of personal history to her, where she's actually feeling genuinely hurt and stuff like that, so she actually feels like she needs to take Snow White down. So like, but even within the fairy tale stuff, there's that easily identifiable kind of evil villain kind of, like the classic evil villain shtick, but then translated into the modern day, it's like that power is still there, the power, the control, that's all still there, but then the evil villain is a lot more modernized. It's like a woman, like Regina, having this power, and also just having been in control for this long, but then someone like Emma saunters along behind Henry, and she comes in actually posing a threat and actually posing as a challenge to Regina, and Regina is not having it. She is not having it one bit. And you know, and I still love that as soon as she was bailed out, she went straight to that apple tree and sawed off a branch. And I think even her exit line being like, you mess with me anymore, and I'm gonna come back for the rest of this damn tree. That was perfect. That was pitch perfect. But yeah, I love them both. I think especially that rivalry too is just really kind of really kind of fun to see too. Like Regina versus Emma, and at some point down the line it might turn into Emma. Because I think Emma herself isn't really a princess. Like even in the story, she was given away, or literally sent away as a baby. So she's not specifically a princess. I don't think, at least yet in the books. But she is still the key. She is still the key. She was sent away before the curse could take full effect, so she is immune, and she's the key to saving everyone here and to reigning power against the evil queen once and for all. So yeah, it's really fun stuff. It is surprisingly, but also, I mean, I say surprisingly because again, like fairy tale stuff, you wouldn't expect it to be as enticing as it is. Like, because I think it's somewhat fair to say that fairy tale stuff, a lot of people still think is the whole cliched good guys versus bad guys and evil curses and kind of like ye old English and stuff like that. I mean, maybe not the old English, but still, like you think of like classic Disney fairy tales, but then like a story like this is actually enticing because it actually brings you in with all these different characters and these kind of different times and different things. So it's actually good. It's actually really good. So I cannot wait to see where and how they go forward with this. So yeah. And I think in terms of Archie's advice too, one thing I really enjoyed the fact that they kind of labeled is also the fact that he explicitly told her, like, I mean, it's a question as to whether or not he told her out of actual genuine self-interest, or if it was something that that Regina must have told him, like, oh, remind her not to use the word crazy in front of Henry, so that she will definitely end up using it later on and break his heart. But the fact that he mentioned it alone as well, like that kind of idea that the important thing to do is to not use the word crazy, because even if he does have some kind of condition, then and especially him pointing out the fact that like this kind of fantasy, like this story as a whole, this story, this whole fantasy genre, these kinds of like this kind of thing is pretty much his language. It's how he actually gets his thought across. For one thing, it's the only thing that actually allows him and enables him to open up to people and tell them how he's feeling. But also on the other thing, it's the one thing that actually helps him translate stuff. And even if like the whole story and the curse thing is true, it's like still true in the case of even if in real life there are people who use stories to help translate their feelings and help other people understand how they're feeling, like that's the one thing you don't want to do. Like you don't want to end up calling them crazy or dismissing their feelings or anything like that, just because it's out of the norm or it's not really how like the majority of people talk or anything like that. So like Archie still going to that length to kind of like express that message kind of feels kind of fairly kind of well executed and well kind of matched up with what's actually going on. So like even in the moment, I could really kind of appreciate that and actually appreciate the fact that the writers themselves went so forth as to say, like, if there are people like there are people in real life who use stories and attach themselves to stories and attach themselves to characters and almost treat it like it's a reality. But then the important thing is to actually not treat them like they're crazy or even call them crazy or treat them like they're kind of worse off for having done so, but actually help understand where they're coming from, because again, because a lot of people use stories to kind of help translate their traumas or even to mask up their traumas. So the one thing you don't want to do is actually call them crazy for doing that. If something actually helps someone convey how they're feeling and helps translate their words into something more understandable, then they should be encouraged to do it. Like getting people to talk is never a bad thing. So I kind of appreciated Archie actually going that far too. So yeah. And we find out that Maleficent is indeed in this story. Maleficent is still in this story, and she and the evil queen are both tight. They are both kind of best buddies in this story. They both traded curses. So the evil queen gave Maleficent the curse that she used to put Sleeping Beauty into her own coma, and then they traded curses other than that. But I think they both somewhat agreed on the fact that the time curse made by Rumpelstiltskin was, well, I mean, we didn't find out it was actually Rumpel until the very end, but I mean, at that point they both kind of agreed that whoever created the curse was actually was living proof that Maleficent and the evil queen at the very least both had morals. So it's like Maleficent and the evil queen are two of the lesser evils compared to the creator of this curse, and that, you know, it's like a thing of like monstrous creation and monstrous existence and stuff. So it's like the worst of curses. Like, you don't use it unless you're like deep down dark, heartless, soulless, anything else-less evil and stuff. So that kind of interested me. Like, because like again, like evil villains, you don't really think of them having that kind of a moral code. Like, and it's like, and that's where the actual kind of like that kind of past comes in. Like some evil villains, you might expect them to just be like codeless, evil, dark-hearted kind of monsters and stuff, and then that can get old very quickly. But then you have the other ones who actually have like a history and a past of trauma and heartbreak and loss to them that kind of sends them down a dark side. So then those ones, they still have morals in there somewhere, but they still, like, they're kind of being evil for the sake of quenching, for the sake of satiating like the grief that they've suffered over whatever they've lost, if it's like their lives or their past. Because I'm still not sure exactly what it was that Snow White took from the evil queen. I think if like these classic fairy tale stories are anything to go by, it's always the fact that the evil queens especially are always portrayed as these dark and hideous kind of like fearsome creatures that are to be kind of like you look away and you cower in fear. But then the princesses and the good people are always kind of portrayed as these kinds of, you know, these beautiful figures of like you know, like magnificence and stuff like that. So I think maybe her beauty, or because I think there is, I can't remember what it is, but there is one fairy tale I'm actually vaguely aware of where like where like an evil witch or like an evil queen had her beauty stolen from her by the princess, and then she was kind of jealous and then attacked her in retaliation. So I'm not sure. I'm not entirely sure that is a fairy tale, but it is a story I've actually heard somewhere that actually did happen. So there's stories like that where the evil villain really is just like hurt deep down, and they're kind of acting out on their pain, and in the process of doing that they become the evil villain. So there's those stories. So yeah, I mean, and like the evil queen herself, like she is a character of like suffering from pain, and she's, you know, getting back at the person who delivered that pain unto her. So, you know, for that reason, I actually want to see more of the evil queen. I want to see more of what her past is, what was taken from her, why she's being this way. I mean, the why is there, the why is obvious, but at the same time, it's like there's more to it. I can sense that there's more to her history, and that history is something I want them to explore more of. So, and it's a good thing. I think, you know, this episode shows that they're not really afraid to actually still, you know, explore more of the past before and after the curse. So that much is good to see. So that's fun. And yeah, the evil queen and Rumpel, the creator of the curse, made a deal together. So he told her in order for the curse to actually work, and this makes sense, she must sacrifice the heart of the one thing she truly loves, the thing she loves most. And yes, I did just kind of remind myself of that from the title on Disney Plus. But yeah, no, the heart of the thing she loves most. So apparently her noble steed, her prized steed, her precious steed was not enough, and I think that kind of makes sense, because like she loves it because it's useful and it gets her where she needs to go, but it's not the most precious thing to her in the world. That would be her father. I thought because of the way that the next scene, that like the next kind of modern day scene following, was Emma claiming that she has no soul, and then Regina's face just like falling, like, how did you know I sacrificed my heart to do all of this? I figured, oh, she must have given her own heart. I mean, because then, I mean, yeah, technically then she wouldn't be alive, but maybe the curse was kind of keeping her alive, or she was keeping the curse alive, and it was like a two-way street or something, I don't know. But I figured, oh, maybe that's the secret. Maybe she gave up her own heart. Maybe she gave up her own heart to make this happen, and that's why she's seen as the evil queen. Maybe that's why she's seen by Henry as such a bad mother, or, you know, like a supposedly bad mother. So, but no, she gave away her own father's heart. Like, I think if they mentioned that guy was her father, I thought he was like a servant or a butler or something, like a free for all butler for evil villains. But no, apparently he was her father. So I mean, if they mentioned that at the beginning, I definitely missed out on it. So it was a good thing they kind of further emphasized that with a bit more gravitas at the end. But that was her father. I think that was not only her father, but then that would also make sense. Like, you know, he's the one last family member she has left. He's the one person left in her life who understands who she is and what she wants and why she's doing this. So then that person being the thing that she loves most is the one person that she must sacrifice, and he wasn't too happy with it. He wasn't like, and he wasn't really ripping open his shirt and just being like, yep, just carve it out, just do what you need to do and stuff like that. But no, she actually had to take it by force and kind of procure her happiness by force and stuff like that. So rip to her father. But then the even bigger plot twist comes when her father is called Henry. That threw me off so much, her father being called Henry, because I was like, is this some more time travel BS that's happening? Like is it Henry, is it little Henry's destiny to grow up and be the father again so that he can, is it like some kind of time travel loop that my mind is just spontaneously manifesting to try and make sense of this? But no, that then links into the fact that Mr. Gold is the one that actually procured Henry for her. And I think that would make sense too, because I think, because Emma never named him. Evan never named him. She gave him away almost as soon as she gave birth to him, because she wasn't ready for that kind of thing. So she gave him away. So she never really bothered to name him. Because then that also makes sense. Like, once you name something, you then grow more attached to it. So she avoided like ever having anything to do with him. So, Mr. Gold somehow, I mean, we'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, Mr. Gold then found Henry and brought her to him. Brought him to her even, and then she named him Henry. So then that brings the question in of like, is she really that bad of a mother? Like Henry, this little Henry is the one thing that the evil queen herself has left of the life that she used to have, the life that she sacrificed to live the life that she now has. So that just kind of brings more kind of question on to whether or not the evil queen is actually evil, because I think she uses the kid to remember what she gave up, what she actually sacrificed to make her enemies suffer for what they did to her. So maybe the evil queen is really just misunderstood. Maybe she's just misunderstood, and she needs someone to listen to her pain and to her stories. And I'm not really saying much, but I mean, I kind of volunteer as tribute. But that was, yes, I'm simping for the evil queen. Okay, I'm simping for the evil queen, I'm simping for Regina, I'm simping for both of them. I am unashamedly simping for them. Okay, the evil queen can step on me. She can step on me. She can walk all over me like I'm a red carpet. That's up to her. It's her choice. 2 episodes in, and I'm already, just laying on the floor, ready for some heel marks and boot marks and everything. 2 episodes in. But no, back to the point at hand. But she named him after her grandfather, and after his kind of semi-adoptive grandfather, technically speaking. I don't know if that even would be the right thing, technically speaking, but either way, she named him after her father to kind of subconsciously remember. And I think even Mr. Gold saying, like, deep down why you named him Henry, right? You know why that name rings a bell and why that name is so important to you. So her subconscious kind of coming up with the name Henry to remind her of what she gave away and stuff. So that is a really awesome kind of plot detail, a really emotional kind of heart-wrenching plot detail. And again, I think that definitely works to humanize the evil queen and Regina a lot more. Like there's like a previous life of hers that she's still clinging on to deep down, and Henry is the best way and like the strongest way for her to do that. So it's some tough stuff. It's some really emotional stuff. But yeah, part of the deal, part of the evil queen and Rumpel's deal in exchange for the information was that, Rumpel asking her to reassure him that in this new world he would live a life of comfort, and especially I think she promised him financial stability of her own accord, so he's Mr. Gold, he owns the town, and I think that is also a nice parallel. He's now Mr. Gold, but as Rumpel he literally looked like he was painted gold. He had old kind of rotten golden teeth and everything, so he was literally, and I think even as Rumpelstiltskin, he was that kind of guy. He had like a lot of money and he had like a lot of like wealth and stuff. So yeah, so he literally went from being painted gold as Rumpel to being Mr. Gold and looking like like a human guy. So yeah, and the actor for Rumpel is really, really cool. So he gives off that kind of vibe, like as Rumpel he has a very, very sinister kind of creepy, eerie vibe, but then as Mr. Gold he has a more kind of modern day, like human sinister vibe. Like he's not really bouncing around and slurring his words, or like, you know, being all rumpling more. But now as Mr. Gold, he's a lot more kind of sinister, like, you know, he's the kind of guy you'll see staring at you from the from like a corner street or something, something like that. But yeah, the actor for him is great. The actor for him is so great so far, so I can't wait to see more of him, as weird as that is. But yeah, but the main thing he wanted was that, you know, that he would have the ability to go and ask her for anything he wanted, and she would oblige him and actually give him what he wanted, all at the kind of request of a pretty please. So that kind of, and they've referenced that they've made deals before. He referenced that they've actually made deals in the past before, and one of those deals was Henry. One of those deals was a child. So I think that could have been like, you know, her maybe asking him for a child, like her being like, you know, I want you to, like, you know, find me a child that I could. I mean, that'd be a pretty weird deal to make, because I think it wouldn't be too hard for her to adopt. But I don't know. I don't know how that deal would have went, or like what the specifics of the deal in obtaining Henry was. But either way, that was a deal they had, and then maybe some other deals before that too. So I mean, that then begs the question of, you know, exactly what deals have they made? What has she asked him for? What has he asked her for? And stuff. But then even then, like, Regina actually said, like, you know, to Gold, like, you know, oh, you knew she would come here, you actually wanted her to come here. So he actually, I think that kind of makes me think that he's also like a master manipulator. Like as much as I think, you know, like, Regina is good at manipulating things in the moment. So like all of her moves against Emma, like she's good at manipulating situations in the moment, like doing stuff like on the spot and actually trying to get Regina out. But Gold, Rumple, he thinks in the long term. He actually wanted Regina. He wanted Emma to come here because maybe he just likes drama. Maybe he just likes that. Maybe he wants Regina to kind of meet her match and to pick on someone her own size and stuff. So I don't know. I could be wrong about that, but it seems fairly kind of accurate to who he is and maybe what he is, and also like, you know, maybe if Emma comes here, then that causes more problems for Regina, and then Regina has to ask him for favors, and then in return he can ask her for more stuff. So like almost like reverse Flash levels of planning, create more problems for her, and then she can ask you for stuff, and then you can ask for more stuff in return, and that gives him more power. So I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see the authenticity of that, but it seems like they're pretty close so far. So yeah. And yeah, Giancarlo Esposito. It is very pleasant. It's very, very pleasant seeing his face here. I think I didn't imagine he'd be in like a genre like this. I think the works I know him from most recently are The Mandalorian, like a sci-fi space opera. So I think, you know, fantasy seems to be maybe right up his alley. He's phenomenal as Moff Gideon, phenomenal. And he's also been like, I think he kind of, I don't know if he started there, but the earliest thing I kind of heard about him in was Breaking Bad, and that's like a more like a grounded crime drama kind of show. So I think, and also he's in The Boys too. He's in The Boys. That's like a darker superhero kind of sci-fi show. So I feel like with him, he's not. He feels he doesn't. I feel like he just doesn't at all feel limited by genre. Like Giancarlo is one of those actors where he is willing to try out anything and everything, but also whatever roles he gets, he makes them his. Like he actually really makes them his. I don't really know how much he's in this or how much screen time they intend on giving him, because I think he was the magic mirror. I think that's also a very, very, I don't know why, but it's also like a very, very fitting kind of role for him to have him being the face and the voice inside the magic mirror, and then afterwards he still works for Regina. He's a contact that she has, and she gives him the job of actually investigating Emma, seeing exactly what kind of character she is, and if she's got like a felony before that she can utilize, or if she actually needs to make up some new felonies for her and stuff. So he seems like a very, very kind of like a right hand man, almost like someone who works for her and stuff. So maybe even one that she kind of puts up as like a president, as like a mayoral campaign thing. Even Mary said that, you know, like she's been the mayor of the town as long as Mary can remember, so no one definitely voted her in. That was power that she obtained for herself through the curse, and she made herself the mayor, and she rules with an iron fist. She rules in a way that makes everyone else both afraid of her as citizens, but also makes anyone else too afraid to run against her, because she will demolish them. So she's very, very kind of dictatorial in that sense. So yeah, I mean, I mean, dictatorial in the sense that she wants the power and she wants to rule over everyone. But I don't think she kind of discriminates. I think she doesn't really discriminate against the other people. But as long as everyone does what she says and as long as everyone actually follows her rules, she will then she just kind of rules with that kind of power. But yeah, but seeing Giancarlo was actually really great. Like, so seeing him in this, and I think I kind of want to see more of him, but at the same time, it's like I mean, especially only being the magic mirror on the wall, I don't really think he'd have that much of a prominent role in this. But I think it's still cool to see him in something as magical and fantastical as this. So it was still cool. It was still very, very cool. And also, it was a smaller tidbit of information, but it was also something I caught on to that Henry mentioned to Emma. The fact that like that kind of story concept, especially the more you see it like in more recent superhero or hero kind of tales, where the hero doesn't immediately believe the story. The hero doesn't immediately believe, because then I think he even points out like, okay, if the hero immediately believed in it, then it wouldn't make for a very good story. It wouldn't actually make for more kinds of interesting story points where the hero eventually then sees evidence start to line up. That kind of stuff, and we see that in effect here. We literally see that in effect as he states it. Like it actually makes sense that you wouldn't it makes sense that you wouldn't believe in this or understand this straight away, because then that's what makes for a better story. And then over time, you see more and more evidence start to line up, and that's when things actually start getting good. And it's a perfect implementation of like words to actions that I like in this. And it's that kind of writing that I kind of love in a show where they actually portray that kind of story point, but then actually implement it down the line in little sprinkles and actually make you realize, oh, he was right. It's actually better that she didn't actually, realize or understand things straight away. And I think it also, I think it also speaks a lot closer and a lot better to Emma as a character. Like Emma comes from a much more human, much simpler kind of background, and she grew up with the knowledge of fairy tales, but she grew up with them being just that, stories in a book, stories that people made up to dream of a better world or like a more ideal world. But in the end, life is nothing like that, not really. So she comes then into this new town that she's been told by her biological son that people are trapped in this town by time, and they're really fairy tale characters, and his adoptive mother is the evil queen, the evil villain of the fairy tale, and stuff like that. So that kind of thing I really like. That kind of like Henry's own self-awareness of the fact that, okay, yeah, Emma's not really going to believe this immediately, so I have to kind of guide her along the way and help her along the way until she does. And that kind of self-awareness that he has of how the story actually works and how the formula of like a good story actually works and stuff like that. So I really I really love that. I really love that. And yeah, and I think I loved like the bonding, the kind of minimal bonding we got between Mary and Emma. Like Emma, like I think that kind of, and I think especially like because like it would take me a few seconds to realize that Emma was actually in contact and talking to her mother, to Snow White. And even as soon as Mary mentioned that oh, you're gonna think it's silly. Oh, he believes I'm Snow White, and it's like, wait, he believes I am Snow White's daughter. Oh my god, I'm talking to my mom. And then even at the very end, she actually has a coffee, I think it was like a coffee or like a hot cocoa or something with her mother. And even the cinnamon thing, like in the cafe, she mentions that the cinnamon thing, like not everyone enjoys it, not everyone likes it, not everyone enjoys it or likes it, so it's like a weird quirk of mine. But then at the very end, Mary makes her one. It's like, oh, it's a little quirk of mine. I didn't really think anyone else had it, so she inherited it from her mother. So it's just like that kind of stuff I really like too. That kind of writing I really like. So that was really a really cool kind of little tidbit to pick up on. Like it really shows like like mother like daughter. So that was really cool. That was really cool. But also just the general bonding. Like I think they get along more because of the fact that they both kind of like Emma, while she doesn't believe it, she's a fairly neutral character. She doesn't really kind of hold any kind of hatred or evil power over anyone, but she treats people fairly. And Mary, being who she is, she's a kindergarten teacher, she's a volunteer at the hospital, she's a generally kind of good-hearted, kind-hearted person, and she gives Emma the benefit of the doubt. And especially because in this episode she actually says, she believes that Emma is here to help Henry, and that she's here to give Henry help that he needs. And that she is, and because of that, she was more than willing to actually bail her out. So it was a good thing that her own mother was willing to bail her out. But that kind of thing, I really love seeing, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how Emma actually bodes further along with her mother. And I think we can expect from that ending that like that Emma maybe crashes on her mother's couch or something for a while before she finds her feet again. So Yeah, and awfully convenient that, you know, Granny's Inn would have that kind of no felons kind of rule, that the mayor could just clock in as soon as she got to her phone and everything. So, yeah, but hey, even then it was fortuitous. Now she can actually live with her mother and stuff. I mean, at this age she probably shouldn't be, but still, she's actually getting to know her mother and getting to know her mother for the first time as well. So, yeah, and I think that as well kind of makes me anticipate like the conversation she might have with Emma once Emma realizes that with Mary once she realizes that she's Snow White, and then they can have that kind of proper mother-daughter talk down the line. I mean, it's going to be a while, and I'm all the more happy for it to be a while. Like I actually want to see how they lay down the breadcrumbs and the actual footwork to get to that point, and how they develop Emma and Mary's kind of story and relationship going forward, and also with the guy in the coma, that's Prince Charming. The guy in the coma at the hospital, that's Prince Charming. So, you know, him being her dad too, that's going to be an interesting kind of family reunion to see down the line. So I'm all the more happy to wait and see how they execute it, and hope they execute it well. But yeah, the Emma and Mary stuff was really cool, really cool. But yeah, that is it. That is pretty much all I've got from this one. So it's going to be very fun moving forward in this show and seeing what else it has in store and how the story continues. So we have Emma now, you know, temporarily living with Mary, with her mother. Henry now, I think I like the reconciliation. I really enjoyed the reconciliation in the in Archie's office, that, you know, she actually said, like, you know, you're like burning the pages, burning away the rest of the pages, so that, you know, Regina never finds out the truth about Emma, so keeping that secret between them, and even her using that kind of law and that kind of knowledge and that kind of linguistics to actually, you know, to regain faith in to regain faith from Henry, to like reminding Henry, like, oh, that's what Operation Cobra is about. We keep the secrets between us. We trick the Queen into thinking we're non-believers, and then that we know better than the curse she's placed upon us, and then seeing the instant smile on Henry's face, like, oh, you do believe me, you're smarter than I gave you credit for. That kind of thing was really cool. So looking forward to seeing how much more Henry and Emma execute and develop Operation Cobra, and seeing how well seeing how far they can go before Regina actually catches on, like, oh, you're spending an awful lot of time more with my son, actually implementing all these different secret spy stages and everything. So that should be fun. But yeah, moving forward is hopefully seeing more characters too. We got like a couple more characters in this, I think. We got, I mean, more fairy tale characters in the actual fairy tale times, and then we got to see the magic mirror on the wall turned into I don't know what his name was in I think Middy or Maddie or something. I think something with an M, even in Storybrooke. So something. So, like, I have to go back and check, but hopefully seeing more of him, and seeing what else this show has in store. But I love it. I'm loving it all the more. So I can't wait to actually continue and share more of these reactions with you guys. So hopefully you guys are enjoying it too. But yeah, that is pretty much all I have from this episode. So let me know what you thought. If there's anything I missed out on or anything I misinterpreted, comments are open. Have at it. But yeah, that was Once Upon a Time, Season 1, Episode 2. So thank you guys, as always, so much for being here and for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed it, then salt and burn that like button. Comment on what you thought of the episode and what you think is coming up next time on Once Upon a Time. Once again, the full-length reaction for this episode will be over on Patreon, so you can go check that over there. And yeah, that is it. So I will see you guys next time.